Okay. Almost immediately after I made the last video, I had a moment where I just kind of thought, well, duh. I don't know why I didn't understand this earlier. And then it kind of clicked into place in my brain that I had that incredible urge to not drink any more water the one day, and that's when I decided to dry fast. And then even though I needed to have some water again the next day, about 36 hours later, let's say, I don't remember exactly how long it was, I still really didn't want to drink water. And I was still having a really hard time in ways I had not yet predicted, like physiological responses to trying to drink water. So I think it was all kind of the same thing, whatever was going on. And I don't think that's something that happens typically to people who are fasting. It might not happen to anybody else for all I know. I don't know. I think probably that would be something to do with how much my body is going through with the chronic inflammatory response syndrome and how much crap I had all up in my sinuses from exposure to the water damage in the home we live in. So I think it was all related to that. It was still, like I had said, super hard to get through. A lot of real huge discomfort and gross feelings and nastiness all involved in getting through that. It was really hard to go through. It's not totally settled down where it's fine. There's still some pretty nasty sensations here and there and some aversion to the water a little bit here and there, but now I've tried to settle in today where I am using tiny bits of sea salt on my tongue, and I'm just using only my spring water right now and nothing else, as long as I can keep that going and hopefully not use any flavored waters or anything. And I'm noticing sometimes it works best, like when I was trying to rehydrate with just a tiny bit of water on the tongue or in the mouth and hold that there for a while. Teeny tiny sips of water seem to work a little better for me right now than anything bigger. I don't know why exactly, but whatever it is, things are changing. Things keep changing, and they keep changing, and they keep changing, and I'm just going to try to trust the process. And really, it's not just trusting the process, it's trusting God. I've been praying and praying and praying for Him to give me a lot of benefit out of this fast. As previously mentioned, I didn't start the fast as something just to fast, just to be dedicated to God, which is an awesome thing to do. I would certainly recommend it to any Christian who wants to do it. But that's not what this one was originally. But I certainly believe you're allowed to have a fast for a different reason and pray and ask for God's help. And God can do anything. So I think when we are feeling desperate and we're crying out to Him for His mercies, I think He listens and I think He cares. And I know He can do things for us. So I believe God might be helping me in this, or He might be letting me go through something hard, that there's a reason why He'd let me go through something hard. And there might be a little bit of both. And that's okay too. Whatever He decides to do in this, that is okay. He is still God, and He is still in His heaven, and that's what matters. So I hope that this could be, in the long run, leading to some pretty great healing, whatever keeps happening, changing with my sinuses and making it not so great dealing with the hydration issue. And in general, people who are fasting, also people who are super low carb can get this too, but I don't know if it's to maybe a different degree than the fasting, probably. From my experiences with it, I would say probably it's a different degree. But anyway, you get to where your body just doesn't hold on to as much water. It just is like, no, we're not keeping that much water in the cells. So right now, I'm like, the big question of the day is, am I rehydrated from the dry fasting part of that? And I would go, well, probably no, I don't think so. But then again, to rehydrated to what extent? Because I am still fasting, I don't know how much it's supposed to be anyway. So I just wanted to share that I am still kind of struggling with it. The taste in the mouth thing has continued to lessen gradually across these days. And, it's still unpleasant. I think one of the reasons it still seems pretty bad to me is really only because it's just was so bad originally, and it's kind of been dragged out across days now. So it's like a kind of a fatigue with it, where you're like, oh, I'm so sick of this, and why can't I get rid of this? But I'm just doing my best to try to cope anyway. And it is better than it was. It's a lot better. I need to be able to look at that and feel grateful that it's so much better. I had kind of a weird experience that I think is related to that. I decided to floss this morning, even though there's been no new food going in my mouth for over 2 weeks. So when I flossed just to make sure, like, whatever film is in between the teeth, I'm getting some of that. Most of it was pretty normal and not much film there anyway. And then there were these two spots just between these two teeth over here and between these two teeth over there. It was like black film that was getting out from between my teeth. That was super gross. So loads of kind of gross and TMI things can go with these kind of topics. Sorry about that, but I figure if anyone's watching a video that has the word fasting in the title, or in a series that some of them have fasting in the title, you're already pretty aware that there are gross subjects involved. So I keep trying. I'm still looking at all this stuff. I'm still trying more and more every day. And I'm doing these teeny tiny sips of water today, and in the long run, hopefully it's going to be great. As far as I'm doing it because of the money, I'm coming up on looking, I'm always like this about this time of month, going, okay, how many days until all these bills start being due again? And I think I'll be okay this month from that savings of not spending money on food. I don't think I can just quit fasting in that moment and act like, okay, everything's fixed, because for sure I'm going to be right back in the same position almost immediately within who knows how short of an amount of time. But I thought I'll just keep praying about it and asking God how long to go after that. For now, certainly through the end of this month makes sense. Probably through at least the 5th of the month makes sense in terms of all those bills that are due in my life between the 1st of the month and around somewhere the 5th to the 7th or something is when a lot of things come due. Get past them and then see where I stand and see if I need to go longer than that. And along the way too, like I've said before, I'm going to keep praying for God to turn everything around for me financially, because I know He can. And, you know, even if He doesn't, He's still God, and that's okay. But that's what I'm going to keep asking for. So, super quick. Didn't wait hardly any time in between videos like I think I normally would, and now that's just happened a few days in a row that I keep doing that. But even though I put another one out quickly, felt like it was stuff that kind of mattered if anyone was following along that cared about the details of dealing with a fast. And I think from times I've fasted in the past, people who are fasting or are interested in fasting are sometimes looking for that kind of thing. So I just put that out there for people. Y'all have a beautiful day. God bless you. I'll see you some other time.